Do you have a rare coin worth money? Well, in this video, we're going over some incredibly rare coins that sold for a lot of money that you do not want to miss. So sit tight as we go over some rare United States coins. Here we have a 1964 5-cent Jefferson nickel that sold for $32,900. That's a lot of money for a little nickel coin. This coin was graded by PCGS at a specimen 68 with the full steps on the back. Specimen coins are very rare to come by, and you can only really tell if you have a specimen coin by the look of the coin, and the easiest way would be getting the coin graded and authenticated by a company like NGC or PCGS, which this one was graded by. Specimen coins are typically produced for employees or as a piece as an example of what the coin should look like. What you really need to know on this coin is that it has the full steps on the back. Full steps are something that collectors look at when wanting to buy a Jefferson nickel. These full steps above Monticello are the highest point on the coin. They're the hardest to strike and they get worn down the quickest, which means they are quite rare. Full steps do not matter on coins that are not mint state. That means if you have a circulated coin with the full steps on the back, it does not really matter because it needs to be uncirculated. If you have a specimen 1964 Jefferson nickel, you could be in for a treat because $32,900 for this one. This coin sold for $6,037.50. This is a Georgia silver statehood quarter graded by PCGS at a proof 70. Now the easiest way to tell if you have a proof coin is by looking at this diagram right here that we're providing you. You'll be able to tell that the backdrop or the field of the coin is very shiny and lustrous like a mirror. The biggest reason is the fact that it's a proof coin and it got the perfect grade of 70. Now we need to reiterate how incredibly challenging it is to get the 70 grade. It is very, very hard. There are full-time collectors and dealers that even today cannot easily achieve that grade. So it's by no means an easy task, but if you do get it, you could turn 25 cents into $6,037.50 just like this person did. This one's pretty cool. So this coin sold for $3,840, and that's because it's a 1921 cent Lincoln coin graded by NGC at an XF40. XF stands for extremely fine. So this coin very clearly was out in pocket change and circulation for quite some time before someone noticed something wrong with the coin and was able to sell it for a lot of money. One thing you're going to want to get is a scale. So weighing your coin can be very important. It's important to know that the US Mint has a 10% acceptance variability rate, meaning that if your coin weighs 10% more or less, that is an acceptable range. But in this case, the coin weighs 2.4 grams, meaning that it was accidentally struck on a 10-cent blank, which is very, very crazy. Now, whether this was intentional or not is a whole other story we could get into, but the reality of this coin is it was struck on a 10-cent planchet and it never should have been. That's why it sold for $3,840. If the condition was better, it would have brought a whole lot more money. Now, we're all familiar with these Sacagawea dollars. Did you know this one sold for $8,400? Well, most people think their Sacagawea dollars are incredibly rare when the reality is most of the time they're not, unless it has this small detail I'm going to show you. So back in the day, you could actually find one of these rare Cheerios dollar Sacagawea coins in a box of Cheerios. That's right, but it was incredibly rare to do so. There's a small detail that means the difference of having a Cheerios coin and not, and that's going to be on the tail feathers of this bird on the back. If you have these diagonal lines going through the tail feathers, that means you have a Cheerios dollar. Here's something important to know. If you have a Cheerios dollar coin but it's heavily worn on the back and you can't really tell if you have those diagonal lines, collectors, dealers, and grading companies like PCGS or NGC will signify that it's not a Cheerios dollar. That's why the condition's so important. Again, $8,400 for this Cheerios $1 coin, $240,000 for this 1943 coin graded by NGC at an AU55. AU means almost uncirculated, which to me means that this coin went out in pocket change. It crossed people's hands before someone noticed that it was wrong and it was actually an error coin. So back in the day, they needed bronze for ammunition, so what they did was they transitioned into using a zinc-coated steel cent coin instead of this bronze planchet. Moral of the story here is that this coin was accidentally struck on a bronze planchet, again graded by NGC at AU55. It sold for $240,000. If you learned something in this video, share it with a friend or family become a member, and we'll see you in the next one.